Trump just raided $8 billion from military research funds to cover up his shutdown disaster. And the White House is lying about why he had to do it. This is worse than you think. Welcome back to Politics Tribune. Breaking news today that perfectly captures everything wrong with the Trump administration's handling of the government shutdown. Trump just announced he's raiding $8 billion from military research and development funds to pay troops during the shutdown he caused, and his administration is blaming Democrats for it. Let me be very clear about what just happened here. Trump created a crisis, then used questionable legal authority to raid money meant for military technology and weapons development, all to avoid the political consequences of not paying our troops. And now he's spinning it as heroic leadership. This is a scandal wrapped in a PR stunt, and we need to break down exactly what's happening. Hit that subscribe button. On Saturday, October 11th, Trump announced that his administration has identified funds to ensure military service members receive their paychecks on October 15th, today, despite the ongoing government shutdown. According to Pentagon officials, the Defense Department will use approximately $8 billion of unused research and development funding from last year to pay service members. That's money that was allocated by Congress for developing new military technology, improving weapon systems, and maintaining America's military technological edge. Trump is now diverting that money to cover basic military payroll because he refuses to end the shutdown he created. On the surface, paying our troops sounds good, right? Nobody wants to see service members go without paychecks. But here's what makes this deeply problematic. Trump had to do this because he's holding the government hostage over his political demands, and military families were about to become the most visible casualties of his shutdown strategy. Here's what was supposed to happen. October 15th was shaping up to be a crucial pressure point in the shutdown. Roughly 1.3 million active-duty service members were scheduled to miss their paychecks if the government didn't reopen. That would have been a political disaster for Trump. Military families struggling to pay bills, unable to buy groceries, facing late rent payments, all because the commander-in-chief refused to compromise to end a shutdown. According to economists quoted in news reports, the October 15th pay date raised the potential political costs of the government shutdown significantly. Translation: Trump was about to face massive backlash from military families, veterans organizations, and anyone who supports our troops. So Trump did what he always does when facing consequences for his actions. He found a workaround that lets him avoid accountability while claiming to be a hero. By raiding the research and development budget, Trump removes one of the key pressure points that could have forced him to negotiate in good faith and end the shutdown. As one news report put it, this directive removes one of the pressure points that could have forced Congress into action, likely ensuring the shutdown continues. Think about that. Trump just eliminated the thing that might have forced him to actually end this crisis. Now let's talk about whether Trump even has the authority to do this, because there are serious legal questions about this move. Congress appropriates specific funds for specific purposes. That's not just tradition. It's in the Constitution. Article 1 gives Congress the power of the purse. The executive branch can't just decide to move money around however it wants. The $8 billion Trump is using was allocated by Congress for research and development. Not for payroll, not for emergency expenses. For R&D, Trump is essentially saying, Congress gave you this money for one thing, but I'm going to use it for something else. That's exactly the kind of executive overreach that Republicans claimed to care about when Obama was president. Where are all those constitutional conservatives now? Where are the Republicans who screamed about executive overreach and separation of powers? Mysteriously silent, because Trump is their guy. Defense officials claim they're using available funds and that this is somehow within their authority. But legal experts are already questioning whether this violates the Anti-Deficiency Act and other laws governing how appropriated funds can be used. We'll likely see lawsuits challenging this, but by the time courts rule, the damage will be done. The research funding will have been spent on payroll, and that military R&D work simply won't happen. Here's where the hypocrisy gets truly stunning. Trump's press secretary and Republican allies are blaming Democrats for the fact that Trump had to raid military research funds to pay troops. The White House literally claimed the president was forced to take this action after Senate Dems voted 8 times to shut government down and not pay the military. Let me break down why this is an outrageous lie. First, the House passed a clean continuing resolution back in September. Democrats were ready to fund the government at current levels while both parties negotiated. Republicans blocked it because they want to gut Obamacare subsidies and cut Democrat programs. Second, Trump has explicitly said he's using this shutdown to eliminate programs he doesn't like. He admitted it on camera. He's not some innocent bystander. He's orchestrating this. Third, the White House Office of Management and Budget, run by Project 2025 architect Russ Vought, posted on social media that the administration is making every preparation to ride out the shutdown without caving to Democrats' demands. So let's be absolutely clear. Trump wants this shutdown. He's prolonging it intentionally. He's threatening to make temporary layoffs permanent. And now he's blaming Democrats for consequences of his own actions. Here's another thing that should infuriate you. Trump's solution only covers active-duty military members. What about the hundreds of thousands of other federal workers who aren't getting paid? What about the Coast Guard members who are part of Homeland Security? During the 2019 shutdown, active-duty Coast Guard members didn't receive paychecks, the first time in history that armed forces service members weren't paid during a funding lapse. The Trump administration says they'll try to pay Coast Guard personnel too, but the legal authority is even more questionable. What about civilian Defense Department employees? The intelligence analysts, the logistics coordinators, the medical personnel who support our military? Many of them are furloughed without pay. What about TSA agents keeping our airports safe? Border Patrol agents? National Park Service employees? Scientists at NIH researching cures for diseases? IRS workers processing tax returns? Trump found $8 billion to pay active-duty military because the political cost of not paying them was too high. But he's fine with hundreds of thousands of other federal workers going without paychecks because they don't generate the same headlines. This isn't about supporting our troops. This is about managing Trump's political image while continuing his assault on the federal government. Let's talk about the $8 billion being raided from research and development. That's not free money. That has consequences. Military R&D is how America maintains technological superiority over adversaries like China and Russia. It's how we develop next-generation weapon systems, improve cybersecurity capabilities, create better protective equipment for troops, and maintain our edge in areas like artificial intelligence and autonomous systems. $8 billion in R&D funding represents thousands of research projects, technology development programs, and innovation initiatives that won't happen now. That puts American troops at greater risk in future conflicts. It weakens our national security. China is investing massively in military technology. They're trying to close the gap with the United States in areas like hypersonic weapons, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and space-based systems. Every dollar we don't invest in R&D is a dollar that helps China catch up. But Trump doesn't care about long-term consequences. He cares about avoiding bad headlines today. So he raids the research budget, weakens our military's technological edge, and claims he's supporting the troops. This isn't the first time Trump has used military families as pawns in his political games. During the 2019 government shutdown, which lasted 35 days and was also caused by Trump's demands, Coast Guard members went without pay for the first time in history. Military families struggled. Some visited food banks. Others took out loans they couldn't afford. Service members were forced to choose between paying rent and buying groceries. And Trump didn't care. He let it drag on for over a month until political pressure finally forced him to back down without getting what he demanded. Now he's doing it again. The only difference is, this time he found a workaround to pay active duty military so he doesn't take the immediate political hit. But he's still hurting military families, just in less visible ways. Democrats have been pointing out the obvious. This entire crisis is manufactured by Trump and could end immediately if he just agreed to a clean continuing resolution. Senator Chuck Schumer and House Democratic leaders have repeatedly offered to negotiate on a broader budget deal while keeping the government open. Republicans have refused because Trump wants to use the shutdown as leverage. Some Democrats are also questioning the legality of Trump's move to raid R&D funds. Representative Adam Smith, a Democrat who focuses on defense issues, would likely have serious concerns about the precedent this sets. But Democrats are in a difficult position. They can't vote against paying troops. That would be political suicide. But by allowing Trump to raid military research funds, they're enabling him to continue the shutdown without facing consequences. The solution remains exactly what it's been since day one. Pass a clean continuing resolution to reopen the government, then negotiate on broader policy issues. That's how this is supposed to work. You don't hold basic government functions hostage to demand policy concessions. You fund the government, then debate policy through the normal legislative process. But Trump won't do that because he sees the shutdown as a tool to achieve his Project 2025 goals. Shrink the federal government, eliminate programs he doesn't like, and traumatize federal workers until they quit. The fact that he just raided $8 billion from military research proves he's willing to weaken national security to pursue his political agenda. This military pay controversy is part of a bigger pattern we've been documenting on this channel. Trump causes a crisis, suffers no consequences himself, finds ways to make other people pay the price, then blames Democrats for problems he created. It's his entire playbook. He shut down the government so federal workers don't get paid, but Trump still gets his presidential salary. He eliminates government services that help regular Americans, but billionaires and corporations still get their tax breaks. He raids military research funding to cover basic payroll, weakening national security while claiming to support the troops. He fires CDC employees and mental health workers during a public health crisis, then blames Democrats when people can't get services. Everything Trump does follows this same pattern. Create chaos, shift the costs to others, take credit for anything that works, and blame Democrats for anything that doesn't. So here's where we are. Trump just raided $8 billion from military research and development to pay troops during a shutdown he caused and refuses to end. He's claiming this makes him a hero for supporting the military. In reality, he's weakening America's military technological edge, prolonging a government shutdown that's harming hundreds of thousands of federal workers and removing the political pressure that might have forced him to negotiate in good faith. And his administration has the audacity to blame Democrats for forcing him to take this action, even though Trump has explicitly said he wants this shutdown and is using it to eliminate programs. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. The damage to national security is real, and the precedent this sets, that presidents can just raid appropriated funds whenever it's politically convenient, is dangerous. This is day 15 of an unnecessary government shutdown. Trump could end it tomorrow. He won't, because he's using it to implement Project 2025's vision of a dramatically smaller federal government. Our troops deserve better than being used as political pawns. Federal workers deserve to be paid. And Americans deserve a government that actually functions. Subscribe to this channel, share this video, and contact your representatives. Tell them to end this shutdown, pay all federal workers, and stop Trump from raiding military research funds to cover up his political disasters. Thanks for watching Politics Tribune. I'll see you in the next one.